everybody. It's great to see you on a kind of dreary morning here. I wanted to show you a fantastic way to practice ingrain your 2-second swing. Now, remember in all the workshops I started them with that beautiful saying of Socrates that the real secret to change is to not focus on what you're doing right on the old stuff, but on building the new, to focus on building the new. And so when you practice, yes, I did say when you practice, not if, but when you practice this spring and summer and fall in 2021, you really want to use these two methods I'm going to show you because they will help you learn the good things about your swing, not just the bad things. Remember the Socrates quote that I've used in every one of our online workshops this year. And these are the two most relevant things. Remember when I talked to you about how to hit your approach, your 2-second swing, this is the topic of our bonus online workshop today, is how to hit your approach. And this will apply to your drive also. We'll talk about that in the month of April. But here in the month of March, I really wanted to give you this fantastic way to practice your 2-second swing, to ingrain it in a good way. All right, and you can feel free to send me a chat since this is a live workshop. And again, watch very closely the things I'll describe to you here. Remember, in our the first thing I'll tell you is it's always good to warm up. Do a little something, even if it's just for a minute or two or three. Many of you know I hurt my right elbow real bad about 2.5 years ago, and it took almost 2 years to really get it to where I could play without pain. So a great way to warm up is to watch this. I've been doing this same warm up for probably 20 or 25 years. Just taking the time. This only takes about, like I said, 60 seconds. But just taking the time to do that has helped me a bunch over the years. Then I love the orange whip, as you know. And as you know, this thing can injure you. This thing can hurt you. You definitely do not want to be taking full swings with any of the orange whip products. At the beginning, you'll tend to hurt something in your body. So I'll call that the end of my warm-up. So as you saw, that only takes about 1 or 2 or 3 minutes. But when I've not done that over the years, when I've done that little bit of warming up, some of which you can do in the car as you're driving to the range, this kind of stretching of your forearms, even stretching your legs, stretching those hamstrings, your calves, your ankles, your fanny, stretching those muscles down there in your lower body, in the middle of your back, in the car even, can help you quite a bit perform better when you go to practice, when you go to ingrain your 2-second swing at the range. So now I'll hit a few with what a lot of us just call a Y swing. So there's kind of a Y between my two arms and my shaft. So just turning that triangle of my two arms and my shoulders, or that Y, my two arms and the shaft, just turning that Y, turning that triangle for a few swings is very, very helpful. So I went about 60 yards in the air. I hit it around the sweet spot. One of the reasons I really recommend you start out with this is because it helps you feel the sweet spot and kind of get measured to the ball so that you're hitting it level each time instead of hitting it fat or thin where you didn't really know kind of the distance from your ball that day. I went about 50 yards in the air. I went about 70 yards in the air. So this is just letting me get measured to the ball so my height is good in my setup. That way my arms can be fully extended through impact and find the sweet spot. Some days, if we feel closer to it, if we extend our arms, we're going to hit it real fat through the swing. So you want to get set up, feel kind of the proper distance from the ball. You're getting measured to the ball. That gives you a good baseline for the rest of your practice that day or if you're going to play. Taking full swings, the very first swings of the day, generally does not help people. I've seen over the years. All right, so now I'm warmed up with that Y swing, that triangle swing, and they were going about 70 yards in the air. This is still kind of part of the warm-up. This is more the warming up of the 2-second swing. The first part was the warming up of my muscles. So now I'll just do some L swings. Some of us call this an L swing or a 9 o'clock swing. My left arm is kind of 9 o'clock on a clock face from your perspective. And I swing over to here, then it'd be 3 o'clock on the clock face, and there's a backward L created there. There's kind of an L there, and an L there. So some people call that an L swing. This is still just part of the warm-up. I'm going to show you these two very, very important drills to do here that are the most helpful things that help you see the goodness of your swing and the most relevant parts of your swing. I went about 100 yards. This is my 8-iron that I'm hitting right now. I went about 100 yards in the air with that L swing. Again, that went about 100 yards in the air. About 100 yards in the air. That's about 70 yards in the air. About 110 yards in the air. I was a little more mad at that one. All right. So now, I hope this gives you a good feel how I've spent about 9 or 10 minutes here of my time to ingrain my 2-second swing, not taking a full swing yet. And this is the way the vast majority of good players start their practices. It's very rare that you'll see a good player start their practice by taking full swings right off the bat. It's very rare you would see them not do a few little physical stretches before they start hitting the ball. So, but it's very common for me to see normal players get to the course, take a couple practice swings on the first tee, and then make a full swing at the driver and wonder why it doesn't go too well. After rushing there from the office in the car, driving 30 minutes. So it's very important. It really calms us down mentally and emotionally, I've found too, to go this slowly when you first go to practice. All right, so now I'm going to show you these two drills. Remember, the two most important things I want you to take from that online workshop describing how to hit your approach. The brief phrase there is on plane, extended arms. On plane, extended arms. You do not need to look at all the different YouTube videos about how to swing a golf club. On plane, extended arms are the two things I want you to remember. And since you're taking lessons from me, you can ask me all the questions in the world about those two so important, relevant aspects of your full swing. Now also, I want to show you this. Remember, when you and I are in here giving attention to your swing, right, we have 4 categories of information from which we can gather facts. The video, your feel and perception, the ball flight, and Joel's education, experience, and expertise. But when you're practicing, right, you don't have the video and you don't have Joel there with you. So all you have is your feel and perception and your ball flight. And so a big part of what I'm showing you today is how to learn a lot from those 2 categories when you don't have the video and Joel with you from which to gather facts. So here we go. The first one is extended arms. All right? That is to hold that finish every time with your arms extended. And you can monitor this on your own without the video. Your arms are extended, the club shaft is pointed right back at your belly button, your back toe is pointed down, and you're looking out at the target. Your head's not down, still looking where the ball used to be. Looking out that way toward the target. So it's a good idea to take a practice swing, kind of check that, and imagine the ball flying out there. Hit the ball, so went about 70 yards in the air, and hold that finish for a couple seconds so you can check to see if your arms are extended, if your weight's on your front foot, the club shaft is pointed back at your belly button, and your back toe is pointed down. Memorize that finish, and then swing to that memorized finish. Again, about 70 yards in the air, I felt my finish, my arms were extended. My weight was on my front foot, my back toe was pointed down. I'm going to memorize this finish right here. And as you've seen many times on the video, that's where the good players are, as they get up into their normal finish and their full swing. So this is a microcosm of the full swing. This is exactly what those tour players look like, isn't it? You can look back on all your videos on your Coach Now and see those slow motion swings. That's what the tour players look like, isn't it? Then they just go up here to their finish. So this is the microcosm of the full swing. About 70 yards in the air. So, while this may seem elementary, I would mention to you that this, I think, is absolutely elementary. I also believe it's very good for all you advanced players. So I think it's good for all players of any level. About 20, 30 years ago, Darlene and I were at a Jacksonville Pops Orchestra concert, and the guest conductor and performer that night was Doc Severinsen. And I won't explain who he is for those of you who don't know. You can, I guess, nowadays Google him. Doc Severinsen. But he was a real cool guy to many of us who were past about 40 or 50 years of age. And as I was reading the program notes at the symphony that night, at the orchestra concert, about Doc Severinsen, because I used to always see him when I was a little kid on the Tonight Show, and he was a cool guy, and I always tried to dress like him. it mentioned all his awards and everything, and it said that he has the same routine today at 80 or so years of age than he's had his whole life. He gets up and after breakfast practices his scales for about 2 or 3 hours every day. So the great trumpeter is still doing his basic scales, that what he learned when I'm sure he was a 5 or 10-year-old kid, doing his basic scales in his first few music lessons. And so I thought, boy, if that doesn't tell golfers what we need to do when we go to practice, every time we go to practice, I don't know what would tell us that. So if you want to be like Satchmo, Louis Armstrong, or Doc Severinsen, the great jazz players, right? When you go out and play golf, if you want to play like them, Pete Maravich, Bob Cousy, Michael Jordan, Wayne Gretzky, Rod Carew, Pete Rose, you want to be a great athlete when you play, you want to do your scales every time you practice. That little triangle swing, that Y swing, is very helpful. And the reason it's so helpful, I've found over the years, like I'm saying, it gets you measured to the ball, and you find the sweet spot more consistently when you're measured to the ball properly with your extended arms through impact. And secondarily, again, you can monitor that on your own. You do not need to be practicing wondering if you're doing it right or not. You have your feel and perception in the ball flight, category 2 and 3, when you're practicing, to tell you that indeed, boy, my arm's extended on that one. I hit it right on the sweet spot. That's good news. Or, boy, I kind of topped that one. Sure enough, I got to my finish, my arms were a little scrunched in. So you would extend your arms in that finish and say, boy, that's my good finish. I want to extend them like I did on those other solid ones I did. If I top it, now I look at my arms and I see that in my finish they were scrunched up. They weren't extended. Boy, that makes sense why I topped that one. My arms through impact were not in a Y. They were in a home plate configuration with my shoulders. So absolutely use this Y swing, this triangle swing, to turn your shoulders back and through. I went about 60 yards in the air because I got it just a little bit thin. So now I've been practicing for about 15, 20 minutes. And you see I've really only hit balls for about 10 of those minutes. I've been talking to you for 5 minutes, thinking about it, which again, I think you can do when you're playing too, and practicing, to help ingrain it during your 20-hour non-round, is to step away from it, sit down and just kind of talk to yourself, evaluate your batches, think about how you're doing. I would say I'm doing all right with that triangle swing. You see the balls are all pretty straight. I hit one crooked one over there. And most significantly, too, I will tell you, I'm not hitting into a putting green here. I'm not hitting into a putting green. You see, I'm hitting down the range. I'm really not caring to hit at a target so much. I'm just wanting to feel my swing, see my ball flight, hear my swing, hear the contact. Obviously, I like it going straighter rather than crooked. And I'm noticing how far they go, but I'm noticing if they're straight or not. They're all pretty good little consistent draws there. You can see that they're all my normal ball flight. So I'm noticing that, but I'm not really trying to hit it at a target. Because, again, this is practice for your 2-second swing, not your 45-second shot. That'll be a different topic for a different bonus workshop later this month. So really use that Y swing, that triangle swing, to help you feel the sweet spot more and more consistently as time goes on, even like some of you are plus handicaps. Keep doing that. In fact, most of you who are plus handicaps already do this. That's one of the reasons you're plus handicaps. All right? So now let me give you the second drill. Remember, this one was dealing with extended arms. The second drill I want to give you is on plane. All right? Now, this is going to be kind of weird to many of you. Let me go ahead and erase those shots I've hit already. I don't see anybody saying anything in the chat, so I'll keep going here. So now, to help you really understand and to evaluate on your own how good you are at being on plane, all right, what I want to do is show you the left-right straight drill. All right? Well, in fact, before I do that, let me hit a couple full swings just to kind of feel my full swing after that triangle swing. That's about 125 yards in the air. Once I get warmed up, this goes 155 yards in the air. That was 140 yards in the air. And I'm just enjoying feeling those extended arms through impact. And sweet spot contact. 145 yards in the air. So you see it gradually goes farther as we get warmed up a little more. There's 145 yards in the air. So now I feel like, okay, that's kind of nice. I felt the microcosm of the full swing with my triangle swing. And now I made some full swings and went relatively straight. Again, you see there. 4 full swings with my 8-iron. The dispersion is real small. That's my normal good shot pattern there. So now I'll clear those out. And again, this is you practicing at your range. You're trying to ingrain your 2-second, the good things about your 2-second swing. Because we remember the Socrates quote, we're trying to build the new, focus on building the new, not just correcting the old. All right, so now the left-right straight drill. I'm done learning more about my extended arms. I feel pretty good about them today. Now I'm going to go to the second most relevant aspect of the swing, and that is being on plane on the downswing. And this is called the left-right straight drill. This is a little funny for some of you. Again, most of you, at least that I help, I will admit, have never been to prison. Right? I've never been there. I mean, I've visited friends there and stuff, but I've never been there inside the prison yet. So, and I do have friends who have been there, I'm afraid. So, most of you enjoy following the rules in life, all right? But here I'm going to tell you to kind of break the rules a little bit, but you won't get picked up by the police, believe me. But you're going to break the rules a little bit, but this will help you feel the good stuff. Remember, we're trying to feel the good stuff in your swing. So this is left, right, straight. And that is to take kind of a smallish swing and actually try to hit the ball left with your club path, then try to hit it to the right with your club path, and then try to hit it straight with your club path, which would be on plane. So by hitting it left, that means I'm going to swing so that my club head path is to the left of the target line. There it goes, left of the target line, by the way. Now I'm going to go right with my club head path. So now I'm going to swing too far to the right of the target line, too much underneath the plane line. So there it goes, way out to the right. And now I want one to be on plane, where I'm going to swing straight down the plane line and have the ball go straighter. Sure enough, there it goes. So that's the left-right straight drill. And again, for those of us who enjoy getting the right answers on tests in school and getting the right answers with our boss at work and all that kind of thing, this is a little scary because we're doing it wrong intentionally. But what I've found over the years, this drill will help you immensely to get a feel for what is the correct swing path. So there you see it. Left, right, straight. Notice the one that went to the left went lower and lefter. The one that went to the right went higher and righter. And the one went straight right there for you. The one that went straight went the normal trajectory. So that's the left, right, straight drill. And again, you can know what your path is, because if it starts way right, that means you succeeded at swinging way to the right. If it started way left, that means you succeeded in swinging way to the left. And if it starts pretty straight, that means you probably were just about on the plane line with that little swing. So that's the left, right, straight drill. Let me do it a little more for you. Left. Notice my arms are scrunched in my follow through. And ended up 27 yards left of my target line. Exactly what I wanted. Now I'm going to swing way to the right. Up there to the right, that went about 70 yards in the air. Ended up about 13 yards right of my target line. Now I want the straight one. This would be on plane. That went about 70 yards in the air. It's pretty straight. Ended up 3 yards left of my target line, so good players would call that straight. Average players would call that left. I would call that straight. Almost all good players would say 3 yards left, that's straight. So now, again, the important thing you're doing here is you're gathering facts from these two categories, right? From your feel and perception, category 2, and from your ball flight. So now, the most important thing you're doing here is thinking after your swing in your post-swing routine. You're thinking, gee, what did that right one feel like? Gee, what did that left one feel like? And gee, what did that straight one feel like? That's the one I really want to memorize. I want to learn what I'm doing right. And understanding the wrong feels can help you learn what you're doing right. And then now, after maybe a couple batches of those, then you would maybe take some full swings, right? There's my left, right, straight. Right? There's my left. There's my right. There's my straight. Right there. That's what you want to be feeling. That's what I did correctly on those. That's what you did correctly on those straight ones. And for many of you, that may feel way left or way right. It may feel that way, right? According to your feel and perception. But the facts of the ball flight, category 3 there, your ball flight would tell you that that is the straight swing. That's the straight swing that I want to feel now when I make my full swing. There's a straight one about 135 yards in the air. Yeah, it ended up 1 yard right of the target line. So we like that. I went about 135 yards in the air again. More to the right. That one felt right to me. Yeah, it ended up 14 yards right of the target line. About 135 yards in the air again. Ended up 7 yards left of the target line. Remember, most greens are 30 yards wide, so 7 and 14 yards would still, right or left, would still be on most greens. I went 145 yards in the air. Ended up 10 yards left of the target line. So, all those were relatively straight. We look at the ball flights on the tracer here, right? One was kind of low, I hit it thin, but the other three were the normal trajectory pretty much. There are the three that are the normal trajectory up top there. There was one that was lower. So there I have a feel for left, right, straight, and now how that feels into my full swing. Now I'd strongly suggest you go back and maybe do some more of the left, right, straight drill. Because you're getting great facts from your feel and perception and the ball flight, even though you're not getting any facts from the video or Joel. This is a great way to practice the two most relevant aspects of your swing: on plane, extended arms. We're live here today. I don't see any other questions or comments from the chat. So we'll stop there for today. Thanks so much for joining me. Again, this is how you gather facts when you practice, just like Sergeant Joe Friday. Just the facts, ma'am. My personality hero. Thanks again. Hope you enjoyed this bonus online workshop about how to ingrain your full swing for your approach. Take care. Thanks for joining me.